Well, hello, everybody. My name is Chelsea, and this is Nap Time Reviews. I'm actually doing a new segment, which I'm going to call Nap Time News, where I go over news and updates from the entertainment world, specifically for TV and movies that relate to families. So I'm still keeping the same theme as far as reviewing family friendly movies. And this is the perfect show to review because it's Harry Potter and everyone's has a large fan base with that. So, a little bit about my love for Harry Potter. So, I grew up reading the books, watching the movies. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. As you can see, I'm a Harry Potter fan club member. Don't judge me. So the site is actually pretty cool. You can make your own avatar. You can find out what your own Patronus is. It's actually really neat. So my whole thing with Harry Potter is that, as I was growing up, the movies were coming out and even the books were still coming out as well. So the whole story of Harry Potter wasn't even finished by the time the movies started coming out, which was pretty insane if you think about it. You had content coming out from both ends. You had books being released, movies being released, the fan base not really knowing what's going to happen, which made it that much more exciting to tune in to see what was going to happen next. And it was cool for me because I was about like 9 or 10 years old when the movies started coming out, and so I feel like I grew up with the characters in the movies, and so I was dealing with some of the same things that they were dealing with as far as being in school and having your first crush and all that kind of stuff. So I really identified with the characters, especially Hermione. She was my favorite because I was really quiet, just did my work, was really did really well in school, and so did she. So, it was a really cool experience just to see someone that I had really liked in the books now come to life on the screen. So, this brings us to this article here. So, if in case you've been living underneath a rock, it has been announced that there is a Harry Potter TV show that is going into production and it will be on HBO Max. And it's going to be going more in depth, I'm assuming, of the whole Harry Potter story. So when I first heard about this, I was so excited, like beyond excited, because there are so many things in the books that they weren't able to put into the movies. And there were characters that they had to cut out just because for sake of time and story. Because if they put everything from the books into the movies, each movie would be like 3 hours long, right? And it would be too much. So with the TV show, though, you have episodes, you can take your time, you can really flesh out some of the characters that have already been introduced and then highlight the characters or bring in the characters that they had left out of the original movies. So I was super excited to hear that, get more into the world of Harry Potter, get to see more, all that kind of stuff. So they started announcing the casting. And of course, we have the casting for Albus Dumbledore, which is John Lithgow. Even though he's American, I believe he can do a really good English accent. I mean, he was Lord Farquaad in Shrek. That's all I really have to go on. I know he's been in countless other roles where I'm sure he's had to have an English accent. And so they also casted Professor McGonagall and Snape. So I will get to Snape in a second. But the thing that surprised me the most was the casting of John Lithgow because he is, in fact, American. And when it came to the original movies, J.K. Rowling, the author, she was heavily involved with the original movies. And she was a stickler about having the whole cast being all from the UK. No Americans, no nothing, because it is a UK story. It's an English story, which makes sense. And I'm okay with that. Again, I'm all for authenticity. So it just made sense. So now you have this TV show coming out, and the main character, the most powerful character in the show, Albus Dumbledore, is played by an American. And I would have thought that J.K. Rowling would have been more vocal about her opposition to this, and we've heard nothing. She hasn't posted anything to my knowledge as of now. She hasn't posted anything on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if she really is going to have as big a role in this development of this TV show as she did for the original movies. So we'll see. Another thing she did not mention or comment on was the casting of Snape. Before, as the show was announced, the showrunner said that this was going to be a quote unquote faithful adaptation of the books. So they were really going to hone in and not really deviate from the story, which is good. And then they go ahead and cast Papa Asiato as Snape, as Professor Snape. In the books, and as you can, if you remember from the original movies, Severus Snape was played by Alan Rickman. This was an iconic performance from him. May he rest in peace. And this is the role that he was most popularly known for at the time. He had done countless other movies, which we've all seen him here and there, but I think he really shined in this role. Like this role was made for him. So obviously he's white, and in the books, Snape is described as having sallow, pasty skin, dark hair, dark limp hair, greasy, long hooked nose, just ugly. And some people even said that Alan Rickman was even too attractive, even for Snape. And he was a little bit too old, but it worked, obviously. So when they go ahead and cast Papa Asiatu, who is attractive and he's black, it just doesn't make sense and it does not fit in with the books. And again, the showrunner said this is a faithful adaptation. This is the perfect example of them not having a faithful adaptation. So I know there's been a lot of controversy over that casting, rightfully so. I was really angry and sad at the same time because this is the kind of thing that could possibly derail the entire show because there's just a lot of content in the books and the dialogue that would look really bad if if it had this context to it, right? So you have the term mudblood, which is what Draco Malfoy calls Hermione as a slur for not being of pure blood, pure magical ancestry, right? So that could easily be construed as a racial thing. And I don't know if that's what they're trying to go for, but that's not the heart of Harry Potter. That's not what Harry Potter is all about. It's not about whether you're black or white or whatever. It's about the main issue that divides some of the wizards in the wizarding world is pure blood magic or non magic, right? So they're trying to make this a racial allegory and it's not going to work. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not going to work at all. It's going to backfire and it's going to derail the entire show because everyone else, the casting, and you'll see as we get to this, the whole casting is fine. Everybody else looks like they should, looks like the description in the books, except for Snape. So you're going to watch the show and be fine. And then Snape's going to come on and you're going to be like, oh, great. There's Snape. So we'll see what happens. In my opinion, I think, especially if they're going to do away with keeping the cast as British only and they're not going to care. It's like, if we're going to do that, let's have Adam Driver be Snape, right? And we could save Papa Asiatu to be Kingsley Shacklebolt, right? Which he's a member. Kingsley Shacklebolt is part of the Order of the Phoenix, and he's also he works at the Ministry of Magic as well. and he's a very cool character. Like, I always thought the guy that played him, I forget his name, but the guy that played him in the original movies was awesome. He was just so cool, had the deep voice. It was great. So, if I was the showrunners, I'd be like, "Look, Papa Esiaду, we'll take you out of the role of Snape. We'll put you as Kingsley Shacklebolt. You'll show up in the next season or so and be fine." And then Adam Driver could come in as Snape. He fits the bill. He already like has that look, right? He has the deeper voice. He just, for some reason, I can just see him as Snape. And if you get a good language coach in there, boom, done. He'll have a good British accent. So there you go. That's my solution, but, no one ever asks me, so whatever. But I will keep an eye on that. There is a rumor that Papa Essiato was fired now, but those rumors have not been confirmed. So as of now, Papa Essiato is still going to play Snape. If that changes in the future, I will definitely let you guys know. So now we're going into the casting, which is this article here. I will pin the link down in the description so that you guys can read through this at your leisure. But I'm just going to highlight some of the stuff here. So they announced what they're calling the Golden Trio, right? Harry, Ron, and Hermione. It says we officially have our main trio. So we're delighted to bring you the Golden Trio, Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And okay, so you can probably guess who is who, but just in case, you have the center here. This is Dominic McLaughlin. He will be playing the role of Harry Potter. To the right here, we have Alistair Stout as Ron Weasley, and then you have Arabella Stanton as Hermione Granger. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they look great. I mean, Harry, the spitting image, right? Ron, he's a ginger. I honestly am surprised that they put a ginger in there just because when they've been doing these remakes of other movies, they've been race swapping the gingers. So I'm glad to see that they brought him back. And then we have Hermione. So a lot of people were worried, I guess, about this casting of Hermione because obviously she looks a little bit different than Emma Watson. But then upon thinking about it and reflecting on it, I think she'll be fine. I don't know if they're going to do anything with her hair because in the books, Hermione had really bushy, like big hair. And if you've seen the original movies, Hermione, especially in the first one, she had like a lion's mane hair. Her hair was like super frizzy. So they could easily do that with this lovely lady right here. And she has the teeth too, because again, in the books, Hermione is described as having big front teeth, almost like that of a horse's teeth. So obviously, Arabella Stan, she doesn't have that like to the extreme, but she does have the little bigger teeth in the front, but I think it works. This trio will definitely work. And these three kids, I don't know if they know this, but they have just entered a crazy world where their performances are going to be nitpicked. And honestly, if I were them or if I were their parents, I'd be like, you are not allowed to be on social media for the entirety of the show. As long as they stay off social media, I think they'll do great. I think they'll be fine. And it even says here they saw tens of thousands of children audition for the parts, and these three made it. We have another page where we have further casting for the Harry Potter show. So, including Molly Weasley, Draco and Lucius Malfoy, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, and more. So as you scroll down, again, I will pin this article. I'll attach the link in the description below this video so that if you want to, you can go and read the entire thing. So this was a couple of weeks ago that they announced the casting for more of the main cast, right? And again, I think they've done very well. So we'll go through it. So this lady right here, her name is Catherine Parkinson. She's a BAFTA winner. And they also said while Draco and Lucius Malfoy will be played by Lox Pratt in the center and Johnny Flynn, respectively. So you've got Molly Weasley, Draco Malfoy, and his father, Lucius Malfoy. We'll focus on these three for now. They look great, especially the kid that's going to play Draco Malfoy. He looks the part. He's got the smug face. I could see him saying like Potter, you know? So I think he'll bring something really special, just like Tom Felton did in the movies, right? I think he'll do a really good job. And we have Johnny Flynn, who's going to be playing Lucius Malfoy. I could definitely see him in a long wig, just scouring down and just again, also having that smug look on his face, that look of disdain whenever he comes across especially the Weasleys or anybody that is not of pure blood, pure magical blood, right? So going down, so joining the cast, they've casted more Hogwarts students, mainly from the Gryffindor house. So we have Leo Early, who will play Seamus Finnegan. He's such a cute kid. I mean, look at those freckles. I really hope they keep the freckles on him and they don't cover it with makeup because, like, this is Seamus. I mean, again, awesome. Then in the center here, we have Alessia Leone. She plays Parvati Patil. And then here we have Sienna Musa, who is going to be playing Lavender Brown, which is Parvati's best friend. So these two ladies are best friends. You always see them together, especially in the books. Now in the movies, they actually changed it. So they put Parvati and Padma Patil in the same house. They're twins. But that's not true, actually. Padma Patil, she got sorted into Ravenclaw, interestingly enough. So in the books, you see Parvati and Lavender. They're always together in every class. They're always giggling and ooh and eyeing and all that kind of stuff. So this, again, is the faithful adaptation to the books, right? And the casting is great, right? Parvati Patil is Indian. This girl looks Indian. She looks the part. Same thing with Lavender, right? In the movies, she was blonde. So I don't know if they're going to change this girl's hair color or if they're going to just keep it the way it is. In the books, it wasn't really defined what hair color she had. So that kind of leaves some freedom, artistic freedom there. Moving on, now we have Belle Powley. She will be playing Mrs. Dursley, so Petunia Dursley, which is Harry Potter's aunt. Honestly, she's way too pretty to be Petunia Dursley, but I could see her having that bitch face look, or she has like a little bit of a pointed nose. So overall, I could see her, especially once she's in the hair and the makeup, she would definitely be like a good rendition of Mrs. Dursley. And then we have, moving to the right, we have Daniel Rigby. He will be playing Mr. Dursley or Vernon Dursley. And again, he's not overweight, he's not fat. And in the books and in the movies, Vernon Dursley is he's supposed to be fat, right? He's supposed to have no neck, anything like that. So I don't know if they're going to put a fat suit on Daniel Rigby or not, or they're going a different direction with that. But he looks like he could be good. You know, the facial expressions there, I can already tell. Maybe it's just for this picture, but I could easily see that, especially if you have like a fat suit on him. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Minister of Magic himself, Cornelius Fudge, which will be played by Bertie Carvel. Not sure how to pronounce that. Again, he looks the part. He looks great. He looks like he could be the minister. So again, all in all, this looks fine. All of this casting is great. And just as a review, because I didn't name some of the other actors that have been cast in the major roles in Harry Potter, we have John Lithgow, who is Albus Dumbledore, Janet McTeer, who will be playing Minerva McGonagall or Professor McGonagall. We have Papa Asiadu, Severus Snape. I already went over all of that. We have Nick Frost as Rubius Hagrid. Nick Frost, he's been in a lot of things. He actually was recently in the live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon, which I went and saw last week. It wasn't too bad. I will get my full review up as soon as I can on that. But again, I could see Nick Frost as Hagrid, especially if they put the wig on him and just the clothes, and then they make him look like a half giant, right? So that could work. Then we have Luke Thallon, who is going to be playing Professor Quirrell, and Paul Whitehouse, who will be playing Argus Filch. So again, they're starting to put the main cast together. The show is slowly starting to come together. So I hope to God that they keep the casting the way that they're going. But what doesn't make sense to me is the whole Papa Asiato thing. The whole casting looks great. Everyone else looks great except for Severus Snape. So I don't know if they're going to keep him. I don't know what's going to happen. To me, I think what happened is they were trying to check a box, so to speak, and they did. And now they're receiving backlash for it, rightfully so, because again, that is not a faithful adaptation. This has nothing to do with because he's black. It has everything to do because he does not look the way that the character is described in the book. And if you're doing a faithful adaptation of the book, which they said that they were going to do, no matter what show you're doing, no matter what movie you're doing, you always cast in accordance with the description of the character in the book. That's just casting 101. And I'm not a casting director, and I know that. So they definitely had to check a box, and it's backfiring drastically. So again, I will keep you guys updated on whether or not they are going to keep him as Severus Snape or bring somebody else in. So I'll let you guys know what that is about. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.